No matter the sport, no matter the season, we remember forever, it seems, greatness. Like a time machine,
here at the Carbon County Ballpark, come watch the ladies at 3.
The Utah Sports Hall of Fame takes us back to those special moments in our lives. To celebrate, to see the score, and hear the final horn one more time. It's fitting that out here on the Salt Flats, the vast, barren, unforgiving landscape, where pioneers struggled mightily and faced their fears while crossing into an unknown tomorrow, that Ab Jenkins did his best work.
We expect to do about 130 to 31 miles an hour. If we're successful, that'll give Ab all the American records for the distances that he runs, as well as the international and the world's records.
There goes another record.
He took something that was just abhorred throughout the 19th century, the Salt Flats. Whether you were the Donner Party or riding the Pony Express, the Salt Flats were evil. And he made them an international speedway.
Faster and faster, averaging over 133 miles an hour in these last laps, breaking one record after another.
And just by the success he had, the ability to get sponsors and people that really supported what you would think would be the insanity of taking a vehicle out on those salt flats and seeing how fast you could go, and in his case, for how long you could go. How long you could go driving that fast, setting records.
Always looking for a race,
Mighty fine driving, Ab. Thank you, Russ.
Ab Jenkins amassed countless records over millions of racing miles. But it was out here where desolation thrived that he chased speed like somebody had stolen something from him. He latched on to time and space just long enough to reward himself with a single glass of milk, a simple toast of accomplishment, thereby connecting all of us to this special place on Earth.
This is not about holding back the Germans, is it? This is about trying to win here.
Skeleton racer Noelle Pica's pace had it going early on in her career, almost unbeatable. World Championships, one of the best sliders ever, the gold medal favorite heading into the 2006 Olympic Winter Games in Torino. And then a runaway bobsled slammed into her leg, fracturing her Olympic dream.
All of a sudden, this bobsled came flying out of the track and hit me and broke my leg, and I was done. I was out. And so that was really hard, not just physically, but mentally.
Healing came from a growing family. But then the Olympics came calling again in 2010. And for a moment, her dream surfaced. It was within reach, but then ended painfully short.
I finished 4th, and anybody that's been to the Olympics knows that that is the absolute worst place to be. I finished 4th by a tenth of a second. I missed it by less than a blink of an eye.
Hard luck on the track would be overshadowed by a miscarriage, adding heartache to crushing losses on cold ice. All of that prompted calls to let it go, move on. But no, not this woman, not this family. And so the family, husband, kids, and the Olympian trained as one for one more try.
I remember climbing over the stands and just embracing my family, and for me, that was the moment for me, was being able to just hug them and thank them. And I remember just saying, we did it. We did it, because it wasn't about me. Like, that's who people would see on that video camera going down the track, but it wasn't me. I had my family, my husband, my kids, my parents, my siblings, my whole family, my community, and I mean, Utah all together. Everybody came together to make this moment possible. And so when I said we did it, that's truly what I mean. And I know that's how so many of us feel as athletes, is that there's no way we can do this alone, that this is a we did it moment, a we did it journey in our lives.
A comeback story of attitude, belief, and strength. A full circle, a family circle, carved forever into the ice.
University has won the Holiday Bowl 24-17, and the Cougars are the only undefeated team in the nation.
LaVell Edwards was an incredible coach, a real gentleman, and a darn good neighbor, as this guy will tell you.
I couldn't believe LaVell brought me this ball, but that's the kind of guy he was.
Which is why he has two special footballs. One is from the Miracle Bowl. Remember that one? Jim McMahon to Clay Brown in the end zone? He got that being a collector. And one of the rare signed footballs from the 1984 BYU championship team, that one has a real story behind it.
The 84 championship ball signed by all the players and LaVell was actually a gift from LaVell Edwards. And he got caught in the snowbank right here and in front of our home back about 1985.
LaVell Edwards stuck in a snowbank. He's now on the front porch in the neighborhood, getting a snow removal team into place.
I got the oldest son and a few others, and they came out, and we all got together and we were able to yank him out of the snowbank, push him out, and get him down the road here on his way. I was surprised a day or two later when he came by the door, and he had this ball in his hand that's signed by all the players, and his BYU 1984 championship ball. And he said, "I'd like your family to have this." And I couldn't believe it. He had a couple of jackets too from different bowl games and things he gave us.
Oh yes, there's one more thing you should know about this neighborhood story.
LaVell and Patty were very close friends as well as neighbors, and our son was riding a bike when he was hit by a car down here in the corner. He was 7 years old, and Patty spoke at his funeral, Patty Edwards, and they're just close friends.
Just close friends and good neighbors. About 20 years ago, we found 70-year-old Wilma Abrams on the mound throwing strikes. Just to let people know, she still had some pretty good stuff. And boy, she did. You see, the game of softball is not just a fun game to Wilma. It saved her at a time in life when she was down and in trouble.
I was 13 years old when I fell in love with softball. I found myself at 20, a divorced mama with 2 little girls to take care of and no money. So I had the opportunity to go to Chicago where I could earn a little money to take care of it. I went there, I enjoyed that. I was chosen Rookie of the Year. And then I came back to Utah to be with my little girls and to be part of the Shamrock team that I loved with all my heart.
45 no-hitters, love for the sport, and even at 90 years of age, a never-ending enthusiasm.
We were not just a ball team, we were an exciting ball team. We sang. And they said, "Sing us a song," okay? Oh, the Shamrocks went down to Phoenix to play. They met a team and they won that day. Oh, the Shamrocks went down to Phoenix to play. They met a team and they won that day. They're gonna be the champs someday. And we were, in lots of ways. We were close-knit. Everybody loved it. We were all there for each other because we loved that game of softball. And we played it for a long time.
Dick Motta did a lot more than popularize a phrase that says you have to play until the end, to the last out, to the final buzzer. Motta's journey to an NBA championship was unorthodox. He never played high school, college, or professional basketball, but he does remember very well being cut when he tried out for his school team and how upset he was.
I still am. Still drives me crazy, and it drove me. I didn't hate him, but I couldn't understand why he would cut me. So throughout my career, I've had to release some people, and I always let a person, even when we traded in the pros, was always face up.
In an amazing twist well into his coaching career, Dick Motta encountered the son of the coach who had cut him.
Maybe 10 years later, I get a call from this coach, and he had a son named George. And he said, would you give George a shot? I was at Weber. And so I gave him an academic shot. And he didn't make the team, but when I released him, I did different than what his dad did. You know, I told him to his face.
There's one more thing about this great basketball mind. Well, Dick Motta certainly cherishes many basketball memories. The fondest one, he says, it's his 1959 Grace, Idaho championship high school team. And players and coaches from that team and Motta still gather together from time to time to share their love for a game.
Stockton, open three, hit! John Stockton sends the Utah Jazz to the NBA Finals.
The big shot was not made by a big shot, or anything close to it. John Stockton was magical on the court in the NBA, and yet he never forgot how he got there and the lessons along the way. We caught up with him as he was whistling through the NBA mid-career.
Stockton gets his 1,000th assist on the year for the 6th season for John Stockton.
The ability to meet people, work with people, try to find a way to accomplish goals together with people that are completely different from yourself. There's a zillion lessons you can learn.
In 19 years, Stockton handed out 15,806 assists in the toughest league in the world. In his aptly titled autobiography, Assisted, Stockton credits and thanks those who pointed him in the right direction as he was growing up. His sisters believed in him. His brother toughened him. And he salutes his parents for a good life and the legacy of a fine name. Coaches, nuns, and just about every player he faced on the court assisted John Stockton in some way. One of the best basketball players ever to lace him up, giving humble thanks for getting a shot at the big time.
John Stockton sends the Utah Jazz to the NBA Finals.
About the time the interstate highway system was introduced, as rockets began soaring skyward and drive-in movie theaters were fashionable, newspaper sports writers were at the head of the table and packed a lot of clout. And Utah had some of the best, like Al Warden. A ride down the sports highway with Al Warden was a ride in a limousine, loaded with scores, great finishes, winners and losers. But what few people know about this long-ago sports writer was his role with the Harlem Globetrotters. You see, Warden helped Abe Saperstein schedule, promote, and launch the Harlem Globetrotters at a time when they were an unknown act, traveling in cars. A very real, believe it or not, sports story.
Mr. Dirks was the baseball man.
And John Mooney, pictured here with boxing champion Rocky Marciano, was a true heavyweight behind the typewriter.
The old-time sports writers, let me tell you, at that time they were the voice for sports. In other words, people didn't, there were TV shows at night for a couple of minutes, but you had to get the newspaper off the doorstep the next morning to find out really what was happening in the world of sports, whether it was John Mooney at the Tribune or Hack Miller at the Deseret News, Ensign Ritchie at the Standard Examiner. The list goes on and on. A letter from a fan in 1969, January.
Sports writer Dick Rosetta is in the Hall of Fame, right where he belongs. He covered sports in Utah from border to border for decades. His scrapbooks include a lot of big games and well-known players, but you'll also find the small towns and the everyday people.
Yes, the Final Four was great. Covering the Utes, covering the Cougars, the national championship football season. That's big. Jazz, Karl Malone, John Stockton, who couldn't love all that? But the people who were just ordinary men and women off the street trying to still have fun at a particular event, like swimming or golfing. Those are the small things. And I look back on it with the greatest amount of satisfaction that a person could have.
Our last stop is Anaconda, Montana, where Wayne Estes was born and raised. It's where he shot thousands of times, day and night, in this old memorial gym on 500 West Hickory Street, rattling the pipes into a basketball symphony. It was here, long before he pulled on jersey number 33 at Utah State University, that Wayne Estes learned about a blue-collar lifestyle.
I believe that because he loved the game so much, and he wanted to be one of the best, and he was willing to put the time in and spend hours after hours up here at this gymnasium in the pit.
Now comes back, Estes gets free, looks at his defense, pushes, and it's Wayne Estes has now scored 2,000 points in a 3-year career.
After a marvelous game following a big win, and on the brink of greatness, tragedy took Wayne Estes. His 2001 career points, promises in the air of what might have been. Anaconda still celebrates their lost hero with a yearly tournament bearing his name. And in the old memorial gym where it all started, there's still an occasional reminder of that hard work, dedication, and perseverance.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe in the ghost of Wayne Estes, because when we came in here and shot late at night, many times, the gym would be perfectly quiet. The only sound in there would be the basketball bouncing or the ball hitting the rim, and then all of a sudden the pipes start to rattle. I know it was Wayne Estes. Absolutely.
Every now and again, Ron Estes walks down that school empty hallway for one more look at the trophies, pictures, and the empty shoes. Shoes that only a big brother could fill.
The people lost a great basketball player and a great person, but I lost a brother.
Oh, what a place. 50 years worth of sports history, over 200 incredible athletes. This ticket, I'm saving.